All right. Well, we have the wonderful Miss Shatonia Chapman on for another segment of Healthy Eating with Shatonia. And I'm excited to have her back on the show. You know, every second Monday of the month, boom, it's Healthy Eating Monday. So let's welcome Miss Shatonia Denise Chapman.
Hello, I am excited to be here.
Well, so Shatanya, I know that healthy eating is something that's near and dear to your heart. And before we dive into your topic for today, just remind the audience why healthy eating is so important to you.
It's so important because with us eating healthy, we can have a long lasting life, a long lasting quality of life without any preventable diseases that's coming up because the the numbers are high in Louisiana, but really all over the state, the number are high. And so many are dropping off because of chronic diseases. So it's very important that we try to live a healthy lifestyle.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to dive right into healthy eating with Shatanya. And, I, we have been following a specific plan, if you will, in terms of topics, I should say. And it's know your nutrients, right? So let's get into know your nutrients. And what are we going to talk about today?
So I've been, I've been always, every time I come on here, I always talk about how it is important that we eat a variety because by eating a variety, we are getting different essential nutrients in our bodies because, as I said, food is medicine. So I just wanted to do just a little series of know your nutrients. Let's talk about the nutrients, why the nutrients are important in our bodies. So, just introducing the nutrients, you have your different minerals, you have your electrolytes, your fat soluble vitamins, you have your macronutrients, and then you have your water soluble vitamins. So today we're going to talk about your macronutrients, which consist of your protein, your fat, your carbohydrates, and your fiber, and why it plays an important role in our bodies.
Okay. And we know those carbs, especially in Louisiana, right?
A lot of people tend to stay away from carbs, but maybe once they know why we need carbohydrates in our bodies, then maybe they're gonna consume the carbohydrates and not, you don't have to consume the everybody say the white carbs, but you have your whole grain carbs. That's gonna play an essential role in your body.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing your message tonight. And folks, what I want you to do is get your notepad. See, while we were talking, you should have already had your notepad. But if you don't, run right now and get that notepad. See, if you run to get the notepad, you'll get a little exercise in, and then Shatanya's going to be happy with you, right? So
Yeah.
then, come on back, get the pen too. All right. Don't just bring a notepad. Bring a pen too. All right. And we want you to take some notes because she's going to
Right.
drop it for you tonight. And when you leave here tonight, then you'll know your nutrients.
That's
So
right,
let's
because knowledge is power.
absolutely. So let's get started. So tell us about our either proteins, carbs, fats, whichever one you want to start with.
Okay, so let's start with our macronutrients. The first thing we're going to start with is protein. And of course, we know protein is made up of amino acids, and you have two different types of protein. So you have your essential amino acids, and then you have your non essential amino acids. And your essential amino acids, they are required for normal functioning of our bodies, but they cannot be made by the body. So we have to get those essential amino acids through food. And then your non-essential amino acids can be made by the body from essential amino acids consumed in foods or in the normal breakdown of body protein. So let's look at what it does, what protein does in our body. So of course we know protein, it builds and repairs all body tissue. So that's why a lot of times when you see patients with different wounds on their bodies, they're always wanting, for us as dietitians to add more protein because it helps with the wound in our body. It also helps build blood, and it helps forms antibodies to fight off infection. So
Mhm.
you hear that word antibody. So this is what's going on with COVID right now. And that's why when we hear how can we fight off COVID, high protein, they want us to add more protein in our bodies because this is why it helps form the antibodies that we need to fight off infection. And it also it supplies 4 calories. It supplies energy at 4 calories per gram. And so sources, what kind of sources can we get protein from? Of course, animal protein, which is our meat, fish, poultry, eggs, milk, cheese, dairy, nuts and nut butter, soy, and our vegetable protein, which is all your legumes, your whole grain bread, and cereal. So if we don't get enough protein in our body, what's going to happen? We get fatigue, loss of appetite, edema, and poor growth. So it'll stunt our growth. Okay, so our next thing
Uh-oh.
we're gonna
Oh,
go.
well, I got to give me some I have to give me some more protein because I need to get a little taller.
Yeah, and of course we know, with protein, a lot of you find a lot of people that work out, they increase their protein in our body because also protein helps build muscle. Okay, so let's look at fat. A lot of people, we try to stay away from fat. Fat is bad. You have your two different type of fats. You have your saturated fats and you have your monounsaturated fats. Well, of course, we want to try to consume at least no more than 10% of your saturated fats because your saturated fats cause your arteries to clog up, and that's what leads to cardiovascular disease. So we want our blood to be free flowing and not, and not free flowing because once, as long as it's free flowing, then we know that we're not having any clogged arteries. So what fat does, it transport fat soluble vitamins, which is we're going to talk about that in another segment, which is your A, D, E, and K is your fat soluble vitamins and essential fatty acids needed for the body's proper usage and the storage of fat. So we do need some fat in our body, but we want to try to get healthy fats.
So
And
can you let's stop for a second right there where you say we do need some fats because some people well they'll just hear that segment and then they'll walk away and say, oh yes, I can go get those crackling, I can get that boudin, I can get all that stuff, right? So
uh,
you need it, but one of the things you always say, in moderation.
right, in moderation. If you're going to consume like your saturated fats, which consist of your animal fats, that's high in fat, in all of your like your cakes, pies, all of those goodies, then those are in moderation. And when I say no more than 10% of your caloric intake, that's what I'm saying. Okay. So,
Mhm.
but we want more of your monounsaturated fats, which are your more healthier fats for your body. And then also with your fat is gonna supply energy at 9 calories per gram. And I'm saying that because that plays a part with your caloric intake. So, and as dietitians, we have all these calculations to try to get you on the right track. So, whenever you are trying to figure out, well, I wonder how much, fat I am consuming. And, it's goes with a calculation that we use to try to figure out how many grams of fat that you are consuming per your whole caloric intake. So where are the sources? The sources with fat, of course, your butter, your margarine, your egg yolk. Your egg yolk is more cholesterol. Meat with fat, your shortening, and that's that shortening, that we use to make your cakes, your pies, all your homemade biscuits, some crust, that crust that we use to make pies with. Palm and coconut oil, salad dressings, and also your whole milk dairy products. And that's why we, try to say, if you are consuming any dairy products, try to do more of your 1% or your fat free. So let's talk about deficiency. Yes, you will have deficiency if you don't consume enough fat for your body. Eczema, if if you have that skin disease called eczema, that's a deficiency if you're not consuming enough fat. If you notice, sometimes when they have to get some medicine prescribed for their skin, the cream is actually made with shortening.
Okay.
Yeah, it's made with shortening for people that have severe eczema.
Excellent.
Also, once
But
again,
you're not saying go in your kitchen and grab some of that shortening there, put on your
no,
face.
no. Let the pharmacy put the ingredients and whatever medication needed to go in that cream for your skin. Also, it'll stunt your growth, diarrhea, and loss of hair. So these are the deficiencies if you don't get enough fat in your body.
Hey, and let
Okay.
me tell you, look, folks, right, don't be saying, well, Cedric, you have a deficiency.
No, I don't think your loss of hair came from lack of fat. I'm not gonna say what I saw on Facebook that somebody was eating. But anyway, it's all good because hey, I love it too. I love it too. But so let's jump into our next one because I know my time is kind of limited. Let's go with carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is the biggie, biggie, biggie. A lot of people try to eliminate from their diet regimen. Well, your carbohydrate is your main source of food. I cannot stress again. Please do not eliminate carbohydrates, carbs from your caloric content. Carbohydrates is your main source of fuel. It supplies glucose to spare protein. It helps the body use other nutrients, absorbing those other nutrients. And like I said, it's your main source of fuel. And carbohydrate supplies energy at 4 calories per gram to all of your body cells. So your carbohydrates is the major percentage whenever we calculate a caloric value for that person. Your
Mhm.
caloric content might be 6% of your calories. 55 between 45 to 65% carbohydrates might be your main percentage for your caloric value. Now, if you're trying to watch how much carbs you eat, then um, consume more of your whole grain carbs, because your whole grain carbs is going to provide that fiber that you need. Of course, fiber regulates us, fiber, and matter of fact, we're going to talk about fiber next. So let me just say that for our last macronutrient. So, of course, sources is your fruits, your breads, your cereals. You have your starchy vegetables, which is your corn, your peas, your beans, flours, cornmeal, pasta, sugar, and I can go on and on with carbs. And the deficiency, if you don't get enough carbs, of course, I stress that carbohydrates are your main source of energy. Your number one deficiency is loss of energy. So if you're not consuming enough carbs and you feel a little fatigue, that is probably the reason why you are feeling fatigued. And also ketosis. So those are your three deficiencies if you're not consuming enough carbs: loss of energy, fatigue, and ketosis. So let's talk about fiber. Um, so with fiber, you have two different kind of fibers. You have your soluble fiber and you have your insoluble fiber. So your soluble fiber, it dissolves in water to form a thick gel-like substance in the stomach. So it can, it is broken down by bacteria in your large intestines, and it provides some calories. Now, your insoluble fiber does not dissolve in water, and it passes through your GI tract, and therefore it is not a source of calories. So you have two different types of fiber. So what fiber does, of course, it helps lower your blood cholesterol. It helps lower your blood glucose, and also it improves your bowel mobility. And so we want to stay, regulated, because of course it's going to move that food through our digestive tract. So, it's very important that we try to get at least 30 grams of fiber, 30 to 35 grams of fiber in our diet. And it also gives us a feeling of fullness without the extra calories. So it promotes satiety and weight loss. So try to incorporate more fiber in your in your diet regimen. And sources, food sources is of course your beans. Your beans are loaded with fiber. Broccoli, carrots, yeah, carrots. Really, all your fruits and vegetables are loaded with fiber. Of course, enriched grain products, like your cereals, your bread, and whenever you're looking at your whole grain products, make sure when you're looking at the ingredient label, make sure that first ingredient says whole grain or whole oats, not enriched. Anytime it's gonna say enriched, and I use enriched because I'm meaning not enriched like what I'm getting ready to say, but more, you have more grains. It's full of fiber. But so anytime you read a label with fiber and it says enriched, that means that it went through a milling process, and it went through a milling process for like your white breads, your white cereals,
Okay.
um, for that. So it goes through this process, and it takes the bran off, because your fiber, it has the bran on it. It takes the bran off, and when it takes the bran off, it's taking off all your vitamins, your minerals, which I already said you have protein, you have your different vitamins, and of course the fiber. And what they're doing, they adding all these vitamins and minerals back. However, the fiber, of course, you can't add fiber back in. So you are left with less fiber whenever you have an enriched product, and that's dealing with like all your white um breads, and like your all your white cereals, anything that is white. And then so your deficiency with fiber is of course diarrhea. Yes, you can consume too much fiber, and when you consume too much fiber, then yes, it can lead to diarrhea. So, and normally when that happens, then I would advise you to try to seek out with your physician and see what's going on inside your your GI tract. And
Awesome.
so that's all of your macronutrients, your protein, your fat, your carbohydrates, and your fiber.
Macronutrients. Wow. That was awesome, folks. So, Shatonia, before we go, tell our audience how they can get in contact with you or stay in contact with you, because you are a registered dietitian, right?
Hmm.
And before you say that, tell us, what's the role of a registered dietitian in our daily life?
So the role of a registered dietitian um, is to educate you on how to live a healthy lifestyle, how um, to create we can create a caloric plan for you to make sure that you're, you're eating within a caloric value according to your age, your weight, and your height. Also, we can write up diet plans. Say, for instance, if we are in the hospital, working in the hospital, then if a physician, put in an order for a dietitian to come look at a patient who has cardiovascular disease or diabetes, or even a patient that's in critical care, and that patient can't consume any food by mouth. So us as a dietitian have to come up with a medical plan in order to treat that patient, so the patient can get the proper nutrients that they need for their bodies, because I always say it, food is medicine. So we play an important role, to provide medical services for that patient, or what, how can I say that, uh, a medical plan for that patient.
Help
So
them
yeah.
eat better and give them a good diet to
Yeah.
live on. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Awesome. So then, how can people stay in contact with you?
So I do have my email going across. It's my personal email, shapinglives14@gmail.com. Or I do work for the LSU Ag Center. I can go out and provide education to a group of people on any topic. My email is schapman@agcenter.lsu.edu. But I do go out in a community and do presentations as it relates to nutrition.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, and we're going to put her email addresses right in the chat. So, all you have to do is click the link and send her email. Again, this has been another phenomenal segment of healthy eating with Shatonia. Get well, stay well, and know your nutrients. Thank you very much for coming on the show. We will see you again second Monday of April. Good night, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.